Today on We Need to Talk, we cover a topic near and dear to our hearts: car washes, and whether preteen girls should be doing car washes to raise money for charity. Now, Meter is obviously wrong on this topic, and I am obviously right. And also, Kirsten's on this episode, and she's also agrees with Meter, so she's also wrong. So, hey, guys, guess what? We need to talk. This goes back to like a weird conversation Meter and I had a while back. So, someone else on my argument could be stupid, so that's fine. But if my argument, I forget what it is exactly, but something to the fact of, let's say you have like a charity, and that charity is like doing like marketing. Like that marketing needs to be in sync with the charity's objectives. What was my argument here, Steve? I totally forget.
I don't know. I only remember what I say. It doesn't matter how the charity markets as long as they're getting the results they need. And the specific example was if the charity's way of making money was by selling sex via like either direct sex or just sexual way, like naked women on the side of the road holding signs saying give money to this charity. I think that's completely okay regardless of as long as it's getting the results that they need. And it's not like, as long as, it's contractually okay. Like the women aren't being exploited in any way. They're choosing to do this, or men. And I think that's okay.
So you're basically saying, like, as long as the college girls wearing bikinis on the side of a car wash raising money for a charity are okay with it, then go for it.
We're getting into a real bad territory because car washes in general are typically done not by college girls but high school girls, and then you're running into a consensual issue where that's selling sex for underage women, and that's fucked up.
All right, see, that I actually didn't know. I don't pay attention to human charities. I just donate to animals.
You've fallen into a quagmire that we have crossed through many times on this show.
This is a conversation we had way back. So Steve posed a question about are car washes creepy? Not car washes in general, but like in high school, like these softball teams and stuff, like they'll get all these like 13 to 16-year-old girls to do car washes, and they'll like be in these skimpy bikini clothes and washing guys' cars, or girls too, whoever. But a lot of times you get these creepy guys. They'll come in and they're like, yeah, I want these young girls to wash my cars, and it's kind of like you're advertised. I don't think it's necessarily true. This is part of the argument Steve and I were having. But part of the argument Steve has, which I think is somewhat true, is there's somewhat a marketing of sex of these underage girls to sell the car washes to sell the baseball team or the softball team, or to
that's the whole point. If it wasn't about the sex, then they wouldn't do something that puts them in sexual positions. You don't scantily clad somebody and then say, well, it's not about that. Like that's the whole way they're making the money, is by selling the sexual aspect of it. Otherwise you'd be doing a bake sale, or let's say it's a bake
sales are the best.
Let's say it's a bake sale, right? A normal bake sale. You don't expect to go there and see girls in bikinis. But let's say it's a bake sale with scantily clad girls. Is it any more about the baking? No, now it's about the dress that the girls are wearing. And that's the whole draw of that as a concept of a car wash. It's not washing the car. It's seeing scantily clad women, and in this case they are underage, and that's fucked up.
Okay.
Yep.
So I
agree with that.
I don't know if it is the point though, because if you're washing a car is very messy because there's lots of water, lots of soap, and all the suds. You don't want to be in your normal clothes for that, right? And
but the way it's happening is backwards, buddy.
T-shirt.
The way it's happening is backwards. It's not, we want to do a car wash, so we have to dress scantily clad. It's, we want to dress scantily clad, so what's a premise that we can put ourselves in that makes that okay? And in this case, a car wash is the way that they do that.
I don't know, because
it's a justification.
See,
I agree with Steven.
This
I see your point, but I agree with Steven.
I don't know though, because I think it can be the case that it's sexualized, right? But I think let's say you go to a beach, plenty of people are wearing bathing suits, all right, from any age, right? And they're not necessarily sexualized just because they're wearing skimpy clothes, clothes. It's just based with the context. In context of washing a car, let's say if I was washing a car, I would have my swim trunks on and have my shirt off, right? I could wear like an old shirt or whatever. You could say that maybe I'm sexualizing myself by putting these awkward positions and washing the car, but that's what's required for just washing a car. And it's what's most comfortable and makes most sense to do.
Alternatively, you could wash a car in a snowsuit, completely waterproof, and not be scantily clad. I feel like that'd be very interesting. Get a bunch of kids in snowsuits washing cars. That's the least scantily clad sexualizing of minors you could possibly do.
Okay.
And if the snowsuits are funny and different, that makes it even better.
I think car wash fundraisers for high schoolers, especially girls, is a normalization of the sexualization of a minor, and that is the entire purpose of it. Is that now it's in a normal setting where it's okay that they're in a bikini because they're getting all wet. The whole thing is all about sexualization. That's the entire purpose of it.
Yeah, when I have a daughter, I'm not going to want her to be part of a bikini car wash charity.
Have a goddamn bake sale.
Exactly.
Sell ad space in your school bulletin or on the website, or sell those little crappy Christmas wrapping paper samples that nobody wants, but everyone buys because they feel bad. And then you get to go to the state finals because of it.
No, just do a bake sale. Always bake sale. Nobody feels bad buying like a cookie.
Well,
I
unless the
can't tell
cookie
you how
sucks.
many times I have ever bought a chocolate chip cookie and have never not felt anything less than like pure joy and excitement. Because it's a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, but you buy all your chocolate chip cookies from that naked stand.
There is no naked stand.
Where everyone's naked and they're selling cookies.
Okay, if there are people who are naked selling cookies, I don't want any part of it. I don't know
See?
where their
No.
bodily fluids have been, and if they're anywhere over my
Probably
cookies, I'm
inside
gonna be
them.
pissed. Keep your weird body sweat away from my chocolate chip cookies.
So you think that the
No
entire
naked
reason for wearing clothes is to prevent bodily fluids from just spraying all over the place? That's why people wear clothes, is so that bodily fluids aren't just spewed all over the world.
Steven, people get so sweaty, it's disgusting. It obviously carries all over the place.
So my point is that I don't care if you're sexualizing for charity as long as it's, literally legal.
Okay, so in the case
And
of
Nate thinks that it needs to be perfectly in line with exactly what you're doing.
okay, so not necessarily perfect in line because there's no such thing as like perfect alignment. But okay, let's say that you have a charity for, I don't know, cleaning up the streets. No, okay, that's a bad example. It's cleaning up a park because cleaning up the street sounds like crime and stuff. But it's like cleaning up like a park, right? Because there's lots of junk, or maybe there's trash in like say the area. So you could do a campaign where you have like a bunch of 30-year-old people doing car washes, right? And being scantily clad, sexualizing them, blah blah blah. You can have like these ad spaces where it's like something completely irrelevant. But I don't think that is right because I think you want something that's going to be congruent with the actual charity itself or the actual drive. You could be still doing something good, but let's say, I don't know, maybe you start picking up trash for the charity event, right? And that's how you kind of gain money and support. It's by picking up trash or doing something which is can be related to that because it's kind of like synergistic with the actual end.
Well, my point is that you need like whatever's going to be the most effective. So picking up trash may net you $500, but if you have naked women with a donation jar where their hoo-ha is, then guess what? That's going to gain way more than $500. Like, and I think that's just fine.
I'm glad that we're all starting to use the word hoo-ha. I'm just sorry. I'm not glad about the situation of normalizing the sexualization of minors using
Oh, no.
car washes.
We're off
just
that.
The keyword hoo-ha is
We're
I'm glad it stuck.
We're off that topic.
Okay. So
we're on to adults.
adults, yeah. So 30-year-old men and no, let's say 72-year-old men and women doing
Okay, well,
sexy car washes.
no, you don't want to go that old because now you're going the other way.
What's the other way?
The other way is where you would pay them to put their clothes back on.
Okay.
I'm saying you hire a bunch of strippers,
Mhm.
like really hot porn stars and strippers and like top tier escorts, and you have them walk around topless in New York City and ask for donations for a charity, versus have some random guy walk around and clean up trash and ask for donations. Like, which is going to be more effective?
Okay, so it's to me, it's not about effectiveness, it's about say efficacy, right? So whether it is okay, like you have a certain way of solving a problem, and that solution might work, but then it's not internally consistent.
As
It's not the right way to go about it.
I don't see why the consistency of the message is like the message of how you're doing a thing is, are bake sales not okay for softball teams because it has nothing to do with softball?
Well, because the
Who
means do matter.
cares? Who
Okay,
cares?
hold on. I'm gonna start debating here. Kirsten, what is your thought on this?
Well,
The way you
I
market
mean,
your relevance.
Steven's right.
Oh,
If you're, but I'm sorry. Are you 30? I'm sorry. I just like
who?
you're not. Well, are we still? Are we tying in the whole like New York strippers and porn stars with the whole like being 30 years old, or are we
Yeah,
What?
just?
they're full-fledged adults. Like if let's say they're at least 25, but they're still like smoking hot.
Then yeah, I think that would work regardless.
Okay, it's not a question about whether it's gonna work, right? Because I'm not saying it's not gonna work, but I'm saying that it's not exactly right. That yes, you can do that and it'll be effective in raising money, but it's not the right thing to do because it doesn't align with the end. Because if you have a goal, the best way to achieve that goal is through the proper ends or proper means to achieve that end. Here, the means to the end is not congruent with the actual goal.
Yeah, but how many? So like, I guess it would. I guess in a way, it could also be like what the charity is for. Like, what are you donating to? Like the point where like, could you like is the morality of the charity so good that you could totally, cast aside the idea that it's entirely bad to have a bunch of like hot 25-year-old like professional stripper women collecting money across New York City.
Okay, we'll say that.
My argument is it doesn't matter.
Okay, so the charity is, let's say, funding for type 1 diabetes research, right?
Get naked, baby. Get that money.
Well, not gonna get naked, but like,
No,
you
no.
I
know.
mean, I don't care if they're naked if that's what's going to raise the most money, and
I would
and
care if
the
they're
person is okay
fully
with it.
naked in the city. I would not
Yeah.
be okay with that. If they're in their
Why?
bikini in the city, fine,
Why
because
not?
that's like public indecency.
So,
Well, there's like laws against that.
okay, pretend there isn't. Pretend you're in Maine and the girls are topless where that's legal.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So all they're hot girls and they're walking around outside of the main mall and they're all topless and they got collection jars between the tits and they're collecting money. I think that's fine. I don't care if it's kids with butt cancer. I don't care if it's diabetes. I don't
Why
care
was
if
that
it's
your go-to
I don't care if
first?
it's Save the Whales. I don't care what the charity is. I think that's irrelevant to the point of whatever's going to make the most money to benefit the charity that is helping people. I don't care as long as it's morally okay to do.
Okay, well, let me get a little bit interesting here because I'm gonna be a bit more blunt because I think
It's going to
talking
be a
about
first for you. Getting
naked
interesting.
naked girls, I think that's a little bit
Mhm.
too easy to talk about. Let's
Okay.
talk about, let's say you have a charity against type 2 diabetes, and
Again? Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, so you're trying to, like, type 2, not type 1.
Yeah.
So, and your whole campaign drive is a bake sale where you're selling lots of sweets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of against the idea of going against type 2 diabetes. Or let's say that you're trying to fight alcoholism and
Yeah.
your campaign drive is to sell a bunch of alcohol.
Yeah.
And you have like a big drinking party at a bar, an open bar.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
No, that is not.
That's gonna raise a lot of money, and if it's helping end alcoholism or raise awareness, like that's great.
Okay, but you're going against this thing, but you're partaking that thing yourself, right?
No, because I'm not. If I drink, I'm not partaking in alcoholism. That's a disease.
It is.
But
I'm not partaking in diabetes by eating a candy bar.
you're
Like I can buy candy and be against diabetes at the same time.
logically yes, but you need to be consistent with the messaging, the goal, like the means.
What's the message? You're not allowed to eat sweets?
Well, the message is that if you're trying to fight this thing, that you have, like, you're showing your alignment with that thing, right? Because if you are like, yeah, let's fight type 2 diabetes and let's eat all these sweets and stuff that these other people can't eat because they have type 2 diabetes, that kind of is
And here's the sign. Like these sweets, some people can't have them because they got diabetes. Buy these sweets now to prevent it going into the future. That's a great marketing technique. People like sweets. It raises awareness about how people get the diabetes, and it raises money. That's a win for everybody.
Can you raise money while you're telling people, hey, sweets give you type 2 diabetes, so go buy some right now?
If the
Better
sweets are
type
in
2
front of them, yeah.
diabetes charity event.
People know about diabetes. They write right on the bottle of alcohol, don't drink too much of this. They write right on cigarettes. They have pictures in some places where it's mandated. You have to have pictures of people with rotting faces that's like, if you smoke this, you will die. And people still buy it.
Mhm.
They don't care.
That's
It's
true.
not it's not about, it's about, instead of the profits going to Keebler, the profits are going to prevent something that this thing in the first place might have caused. I think that's not only a good way to do it, it's noble to take those profits away from that business and instead give it to something that's preventing a disease that it's causing.
Okay, but okay, so let's say you have cigarettes and then you market
Yeah.
those cigarettes to people, but say a certain portion of those funds go to charity to prevent
Yeah.
people from smoking cigarettes.
To prevent, no. You don't prevent somebody from doing a thing. You to solve lung cancer. Great. I would sell cigarettes to fund the prevention of lung cancer.
But the prevention of lung cancer would be done through not selling cigarettes.
No, it wouldn't, because people are still going to get lung cancer.
Yes, but they're going to get mostly lung cancer. A high portion of people who get lung cancer are from smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, but what if you sell enough cigarettes that you prevent lung cancer and then people can smoke without getting cancer? That's great. Cigarettes cured cancer. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, Kirsten, I want your take on this.
I honestly kind of side with Steven still.
Okay, why?
I'm sorry,
Why?
like it's shitty. It's all very shitty. But it's gonna make money for something good.
Oh my god, that's what it comes down to. It's shitty, but it's gonna make money.
I will
Yeah.
I will like vehemently be against minors doing the whole like car wash bikini thing, like no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah.
But in like any other situation where anyone's like a consenting adult, like you're 21 and you're a college student and you like, partying, but you also want to like donate to a charity and like be nice for one weekend. Oh, well, there's an event where you can drink and do something good at the same time. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, like this event for type 2 diabetes is, you know, it's just like technically fundamentally wrong, but it's for a good cause. And I like chocolate chip cookies, so I might as well.
Nate,
I'm not going to get type 2 diabetes from having one chocolate chip cookie, but buying a chocolate chip cookie gives money to the charity or the foundation or research that's going to help towards curing it or making it easier to maintain.
Okay, so yes, it's gonna raise money. So we're not in disagreement about that. And we're also not in disagreement that it's probably gonna raise more money. But ideally, you want, the best way to create something good is to do something good, right? Just having a party is not doing something good. I mean, I'm not saying having a party is bad, but you're trying to affect this thing. Like I could see it where, let's say that you have a fundraiser to raise money to cure cancer, right? And what do the people do? They raise money by saying that they're going to shave their head on this day, because people who get chemotherapy tend to lose their hair.
Mhm.
Right.
I think that makes sense, right? That's a good marketing thing because that's in line with the end, or the end of it, right? Which is to raise money for people with cancer and trying to raise empathy through shaving your own head.
I see your point, but I'm I feel for the people who have gotten cancer and who've had to shave their head. The only time I'm ever going to shave my head is if and when I get cancer.
So
I will
weird energy
donate
on that
money
one.
like I have to help
I'll
cancer
donate money
causes.
to myself. I got cancer. Here's $1, me.
But I feel like if you
Go.
can just donate the money, I
Yeah.
think that that's good enough.
The hypocrisy of the thing does not matter. So, Nate, my point comes down to a math problem and yours doesn't, and that's I think where the disagreement comes in. So if you spend the day cleaning up trash and you raise money doing that, and you make $500 and you do a good thing, that good thing is worth 5 because you spent that time cleaning up. You spent 5 hours cleaning up the trash. You made $500. So then on the other hand, you have somebody else who's just raising money through scantily clad women, or selling candy at a bake sale for diabetes, and they make $5,000.
Mhm.
And in doing so, that $5,000 does more good than the good that the $500 and the cleaning up trash did. So I think it's a net win to raise more money, even if it's not completely in line with the thing in and of itself that you're trying to prevent. I think you're doing more good by raising more money than as far as that's concerned. It would come down to a math problem.
See, I think we just have a different philosophy on this. Is what I have to conclude, because
Mhm.
that's more like a utilitarian means sort of justification for it. And
Which is weird that you're taking the moral high ground and I'm being utilitarian,
how's that?
because that's pretty much the opposite of our normal dichotomy.
Hmm. Hmm. I I could come up with a utilitarian argument against that, which I don't think I would
Mhm.
be very accurate. But the argument would be something to the effect of, certainly it's the case that you can raise money for these good causes. It causes more good in the world, at least initially. But the fact that you're doing this continuously, like maybe just for one instance, it's okay, right? Because you raise some so good. But then when you normalize that, say, that means where you're not actually doing anything good necessarily, you're kind of just raising money. Maybe more good would be done if people are actually doing good things. Instead of, say, partying to raise money, maybe just have those people just actually do the thing, and maybe more good would be generated that way if you have a different, say, a more inline means.
But they're not gonna spend as much money. You
Right.
gotta get them drunk,
Well, yeah, but
then the money flows.
the idea is that certainly there's a short term aspect to it, but maybe the long term aspect is not there in say the just going after money, because you might say this charity raised this amount of money, but then we're not actually good at it doing. Whereas, let's say in my alternate scenario where everyone's just doing good and you're not focusing on the money as much, maybe actually more good is happening.
Well, the assumption that's being made is that the money is doing good. And if you take away that assumption, then it completely changes the argument. But I think that the money is doing good. So let's say you do the bake sale for diabetes, and 5 people who donate at that bake sale by buying stuff get type 2 diabetes. But by raising that money, you cure type 2 diabetes, or you cure 10 people. That's a net win.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right.
It's math, man. It's charity math.
All right. All right. Kirsten, just tell me how much you agree with me. Just tell me how right I am.
I wish I could. I wish I could just zoom onto your face, just because it's just like I want to win. I want to win this argument. But Steven keeps listing the numbers.
It's like I don't want to win the
Just
argument.
make up some fake numbers, Nate.
I just want you to say like, yes, it's all about money. Yes, we're bad people. Like that's all I want you guys to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all about money because that is what's going to cause the greatest positive effect, and that makes me a better person than you.
Oh.
Kirsten, thank you so much for agreeing with me. You're welcome back anytime.
Okay, and I just want to be clear that for anyone who's hearing this, don't mistake me when I'm saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not ethical. I'm not saying that if you have a charity drive which is not in alignment with your end, that you're going to be thrown in jail or scorned or like say have rocks thrown at you. Like that's not the idea. It's kind of just more like sketchy, or just kind of more like I don't know. It's not as good. Like it's better to do something where it's in line with the end, as opposed to otherwise.
If you have something that directly competes with the point, like a bake sale for diabetes, I think that the actual efficacy of it is going to be reduced. I don't disagree with that. My point is that the morality of the thing being done, such as having naked people for raising money for cancer research, those two things aren't in direct conflict. So I think that would raise a shit ton more money than a bake sale for cancer research. So your point of when you have a bake sale that is for diabetes, I agree that that's not a good idea because I don't think it will make money. Not because it's in contrast with the thing. I think it won't make money because of that. But if the question was a bake sale that we've done the research and the best way to raise the most money for diabetes research is through a bake sale, then I have absolutely no issue with doing that.
Right. So in this case, your argument is that the contradictive nature of a bake sale for diabetes is not likely to be effective because it's contradictory. Like people are going to pick up on that as like, that's kind of strange.
Right.
Like it's not.
So it will reduce the efficacy of the actual thing itself.
Right. So it's just more like a bad strategy than it is like something which is immoral.
That's well, because of whatever the morality there is and whatever the contradiction is, people aren't going to like that hypocrisy, so they're not going to donate to it. I think that is a bad marketing technique, but I don't have an issue with it. I only have an issue with it because it's a bad marketing technique, not because it's Hippocratic. If it was Hippocratic and raised the most money, I have no problem with it.
Kirsten, where would you say what delimits the balance of marketing? Like how far is too far? I mean, we've established that say advertising, underage women or men as like being a sexualized object is a bad thing, obviously. So that's one line, but where's the line ultimately drawn, or where's the gray area start happening?
I'm trying to think. I mean, outside of sexual tactics, I mean, technically speaking, things that are inappropriate for marketing are like you know how 10-ish years ago we would get these ads about like, like you're our big winner, like click here now to claim your prize type thing. So that like isn't legal to do anymore. Advertisers won't accept that or like approve that type of like image content because the person like obviously is not a winner, at least yet. So they're like illegally acquiring like all this information about this person, like their email, their phone number, their name, and they're using that so they can market like other things to that person, and they never, they never won anything in the first place. Right. So now, those ads don't exist anymore. You can still like see or like find ads occasionally that say like you could be a winner, but now it's actually tailored towards like a sweepstakes style advertisement. So like just not lying in marketing is now like highly or not like highly. It's better regulated now than it was a decade or two ago when the internet first popped out.
Kind of like sort of more contractual agreement. Like if you say that you have X, Y, or Z, that you actually get that thing, or it not be falsely advertised. Like because I suppose there's being like a contract being made. Like if you say purchase a product or have something like there, that the thing that you're being advertised is relating to the actual thing that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I got tricked. Like me and my dad got tricked by one of those schemes where it's like you got this thing in the mail
Hmm.
and it was from like a car company, like one of the dealers somewhere around here. And my dad threw it away, but then he thought, it's like one of those scratch ticket ones. It's like, let's just take a look, and then said that we wanted like $1,000. And I actually read all the fine print and details, and it seemed legit because I thought that they would be constantly obligated to give us the money because I read all these fine details. Like I thought it was fake initially, but then we went there and then explained, oh, like these actually aren't the real numbers to match. It's actually the ones on the board here. And they got my dad's contact details, and then they gave us like both $5 gift cards to Walmart.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah,
So they did that because they were hoping you'd come by super confused and like maybe they'd sell you a car.
yeah, yeah.
That's fucked up.
Honestly, I think it was more about lead generation in that case because like they were even trying to sell my dad a car. They just wanted his contact information to buy for him to buy a car later, or maybe buy a car then would be the ultimate goal for them. But I think they're more just trying to get like leads.
I guess
And
that's
that's
one way
really
to
smart.
do
Lead
it.
lead generation is very, very expensive. So if you can generate a lead for $5, like that is a no-brainer. You definitely want to do that. Even if 1% make a sale, as long as your sale nets you more than $500, like there's a good chance you were going to spend $500 on advertising anyway. You've just made back your money, and that's a really good way to do it. So it's not a bad way to do it. There's definitely an efficacy issue that could show in that way. My specific thing isn't necessarily about the efficacy of marketing in general for any business, but specifically for a charity that is doing good rather than something that's just raising money
Mm-hmm.
or earning money for an individual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is Kirsten, what's the shadiest marketing tactic you've seen in the field,
Mm.
or one of the shadier tactics that is out there?
I mean, when I was doing like advertising, it was mostly, just on Plenty of Fish or Pornhub, but think I think really one of the shadier practices out there is just like promising something that you can't fulfill for one, and for two, and I was definitely guilty of this, but
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of Fish had rolled out this like new rule about um
Mm-hmm.
not like because like we used to be able to put pictures of women in bikinis for ads on Plenty of Fish, and then they like got rid of that, and then everyone moved over to like short shorts and like really tight tank tops with like cleavage showing, and then they were like, okay, you can't do that. So then it just got to this point where like they really wanted the women in the images to, you know be like innocent looking for the most part, like no indication of like sexual desires or whatever. But
Mhm.
obviously, the sexual aspect of that's sold. So a lot of marketers, including myself, would find like the best possible images that we could. So, like women that would be tilted to the side and like sticking their like behind out to like round it out, but then like puffing their chest out, like the very very lightest amount of like cleavage, or we'd like use graphic design to kind of like cut it off a little bit so it wasn't as um like in your face. Basically we would find ways to kind of like cheat those little rules here and there so that we could make the most possible ROI, because like we know showing off like a woman in like fully clothed, like covered up, saint like was just not gonna convert.
Mm-hmm. And this is like literally one of those things where you can see like sex sales. Like it sounds like you would see an impact on your ROI, like if you had more covered women. Is that right?
Yeah, a bad impact on ROI. Like,
Oh, jeez.
yeah. So I
Hmm.
would like go on. This is so bad, but this is like just this is just what I learned being in it for so long. But I would go on like websites that um would have like women sharing selfie images of themselves, like kind of in that provocative stance, but like still covered
Hmm.
up so it would like pass for plenty of fish. And
Hmm.
then uh and all these women were like from like Britain for the most part, just like overseas. So I could
Hmm.
like I said, feel really bad, but I would take their picture, I'd run the ad, and I would make money off of their selfie. Like,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, but like hundreds of marketers like started doing this,
Hmm.
hundreds, and then it just got really competitive.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It sounds like you kind of constrained in those kind of ways, so you just find any way to get around it because you know like the ROIs can be generated by the sex or the sexual appeal, and so you just find anything that can be sexy about someone fully clothed or I don't know, something to that effect.
Yeah. Yep. So
There's an ad that pops up sometimes on Facebook that's for a dating app, and it's a picture of a fully clothed, like it's barely, chest up, and it says DTF across the top, and then
is this
down the
on
side,
Facebook?
yeah, and then down the side it says "Find your soulmate." So it's down to "Find your soulmate" as it rolls down. So
Uh,
the
Oh,
DTF is in like big block letters and very, very clear. And that's what catches your eye, and then it like rolls down the side. So I thought that was a very, very smart way to market something PC in a very risque way. That's that exact finding the loophole and sailing right on through it.
wow. That is smart. That is smart.
I think it's effective, but I don't like it. Like it just seems deceptive.
So here's what I would do. I would get a picture of a fully clothed girl, like doing dishes or doing laundry or something, and have her like laughing, and she's all soaked in water because she's doing the dishes.
I don't think that would pass.
So you see, this is the same concept that we use with a car wash, where you take something that I want to have this girl be all like covered in water. So in order to do that, I'm going to put her in a situation where it's okay that it's innocent that she's covered in water, like a car wash or dishes or something like that. She's watering the garden. Oh, got some on myself. But it's okay because she's just watering the garden. There's nothing sexual about that. She's got a big hose leaking water all over her in her hand. That's not sexual.
Well, it comes to the point that anything can be sexualized. I mean, that's kind of
Well,
the
you
thing.
can
Like,
sexual, yes, but there are things that are way more like overtly, obviously trying to be sexual.
yeah, it's supposed to be harder to sexualize taking a dump. I mean, some people are probably into that,
Hmm.
but yeah, yeah, hard to see a commercial like that.
Yeah.
I, actually, it's like my girlfriend's been watching a lot of TV lately, and like there'll be like these commercials for like showers, not showers, like shampoo and everything, and it's always like this. It's always this like girl in the shower, just essentially naked, but they don't show any real things. But I was just kind of watching. I'm like, this is like a very sexual ad. It's not appearing sexual. It's appearing just like this is just about a shower ad, and it's kind of how they shot it. This kind of appears. But they're essentially showing like this attractive naked girl, like just in these kind of ways that don't overtly seem sexual or present as sexual.
And that's what's considered smarketing. I always it's
Marketing is
marketing. They'll find a way. Smart marketing.
really that's a real thing. So,
It's
huh?
just kind
All
of
right.
like a silly term, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. I see. Do you have any instances where you've done some marketing?
Oh God. that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Name every single one.
holy fuck. Nathan, you just want so much from me.
I'm very demanding.
uh,
See, I just make stuff up
I mean,
anytime I.
I mean, yes, but nothing that I would admit to live.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a really
It's
good
like,
answer.
Yeah.
It's a good way to say nothing while
Yeah.
saying everything.
I am not a person to market myself, which is kind of an issue I have because, as Meter knows, like I used to make these animations and videos and also produce some music, and essentially I just kind of keep it to myself, for whatever reason. Like I even made the album, I made like CDs and stuff, and it's like,
Mm.
I gave it to like my friends because if they asked, but I didn't really like throw it around anywhere. I didn't care.
I mean, if that's your prerogative, go for it. If that's what you want to do it. It's just, I mean, like it's indicate if you wanted to keep the stuff that you make to yourself, but
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like people like got into it, that'd be fine. But I think I'm getting to the point right now, my mentality where I want to monetize everything, and I'm kind of getting to where I actually want to make money for things, like because I'm almost like 30 now, and it's kind of like I think the normal kind of job stuff is kind of getting bland, like it's too much on the rails. So I'm kind of looking to actually monetize some things, ideally.
Have you tried selling candy bars to people with diabetes?
topless.
I hear it's a market. It's topless.
Wait, so I'm gonna be topless, or am I gonna hire someone else to be
Yeah.
topless?
Why you gotta choose just one?
Okay, so I'll go around topless,
Mm-hmm.
give them candy bars, and say, "Hey, this has plenty of sugar." Yeah, give me money.
Like this is going to help help people with diabetes, meaning myself.
Yeah, yeah. Give me money just to support my diabetes, please.
No. You don't phrase it like that, buddy. This is
No.
going to help someone with diabetes. It just happens to be yourself, but you don't say that part.
Oh, okay.
So they
Because
think it's a charitable cause, but really it's just this is going to help me.
well, it still is, right? It's still a charitable cause.
Oh yeah, for sure. Buying a transaction of you buy a product from me, that's charity.
Mm-hmm.
You should
Mm-hmm.
feel good about buying products from me.
Because I
So-
donate it to me.
Because I donate it to a very worthy cause of my own bank account. Oh, I think I did that in a fake ad one time. I did it in there was an ad about a garage sale. I was just selling stuff in my driveway out of the trunk of my car. I called it junk in my trunk. And I'm like, all the money goes to helping someone starving, me.
Actually, you know what I will say? That's like, I don't even know if it's like necessarily a bad marketing practice, but it's just like, in some cases, these things can blow up and they're not even true. But GoFundMe's are so easy to abuse.
Yeah, there's a
Mhm.
lot of those
And
that are
like
like
the
fake.
marketing that goes along with it is just like, if the story, true or not, is good enough to share to thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people across America,
Mhm.
if it ends up being fake, and in some cases it has been in the past, then that's just like,
I
it's
want a
not even
million
just
people to
like
give me
bad.
50 cents.
Yeah, it's also just like, it's honestly bad research on like society's part too.
If a
Because we
million
like
people,
feed into the marketing someone else's story because it's so good, and then you find out like 3 weeks later that it was all fake because they got investigated and then it got like reported, but you don't get your money back, I think. I don't know how
Mhm.
GoFundMe works too much other than like you go fund someone who's in need.
I mean, when
Yeah.
the end is kind of more ambiguous, like for legal fees or like for court case, or uh, I know, for instance, there's been some times where, like, say someone gets in trouble with something, or someone's family member dies, and they'll have a GoFundMe for the funeral costs or whatever. But that's kind of like a general catch-all sort of cause. And part of the thing that happens apparently with this sometimes is that like it's a general kind of cause for the family, right? Who's the family exactly? I guess sometimes like they might get raised like $1 million, and that $1 million goes to the family, but the funeral costs are only going to be like say $15,000-$20,000 or something to that effect. So they're left with like an extra 100 thousand to like $900,000 to play with, and they all fight over who gets the money, which is a little bit awkward. But yeah, there's also other instances where a lot of these like say more product based GoFundMe's. There's one, I think it's called the Circle bracelet, and it's supposed to
Mhm.
be this like futuristic bracelet that you would put on your wrist here and project like a screen onto your hand, and you could use that hand like to touch onto it, kind of like you might see in like certain futuristic sci-fi movies,
Yeah.
but you can kind of interact with it that way. And this is the whole premise of the idea. And they had like a little video demo of it, which was something that it was more like a mock-up than anything because they obviously photoshopped it. And there's a guy on YouTube who did some debunks of this, but named Captain Disillusion. But the whole idea of the product was kind of flawed to begin with because just the law of physics in nature, you can't project a surface which is say brighter than the actual thing it's on. So essentially, like if you have a projector screen projecting onto the wall, that image on the wall can get only as bright as the surrounding area to it because that's the contrast. So like the idea that you'd have a usable screen on this that you'd actually be like readable like a normal screen was just kind of not feasible, without having say super high powered optics that would blind you or kind of fry your skin.
Yeah, they need a little screen that slides out onto your hand and then it projects onto the screen.
Will this be internally installed into our hands, or
I think it was a watch he said.
I mean, honestly, I'd get something installed in my brain. That'd be pretty cool.
I feel like I've read enough about having like foreign objects in your body that it's not worth.
Are we back to Pornhub?
No, we're not.
Where's this going?
So, I mean, like, women get advertised different things, and often we're advertised like the idea of plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You get
silicone,
plastic surgery and we get dick pills.
yes, but the pills pass through you and you're like pretty much fine. Where I've read like pretty well, not like recently, but over the last year, that implants can actually cause a lot of like intense adverse effects for the women who get them.
Mhm.
Um, like I mean, I won't go into full detail, but it can be like migraine several days a week, just like always feeling tired.
Mhm.
A big one is like full body, like inexplicable rashes, and they'll go to these doctors, and like the symptoms can be so much worse. But they'll go to these doctors and be like, I don't know why this is happening to my body. And they'll like run all these tests, and all the tests will come back like there's nothing wrong. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And then they'll finally get an explant and like get them all out. And then like all the symptoms that they had while they had the implants go away. Like
Mhm.
anywhere between like 2 days and like 6 months after getting the explant, depending on how bad and like frequently occurred the symptom was happening when they had them in. So, like, the idea of installing something into my body is now like not a good one, personally. Even if it's a nano chip in the brain, like, what would metal do inside of your brain? Like, because there are like carcinogens and stuff in implants and um like mercury and stuff. So I don't it's not even something I would want to consider at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to install a screen into your arm to, have a watch project like a movie onto it or something, by all means go for
That'd be great. Then I could watch a movie like this all day. That's an
it.
hour and a half.
Yeah, I was like your whole arm turns blue around it or
That's
something and you're like,
perfect.
what is
I'll
happening?
feel immersed because I'm watching Avatar, baby.
Speaking about the plastic surgery, getting off topic again, but
We're really good at that.
uh, there's a case of it's not like super common, but I think it's more common with a certain kind of breast enhancement surgery. But there's these women that get it done, and there's this kind of weird thing that happens where there's usually a little bit of scar tissue that builds up, when you get any sort of like say surgery done or any sort of like thing like that. But there's this weird condition that can happen where the scar tissue like happens, but then gets more built up, and then the breast tissue essentially becomes the scar tissue and just keeps building. And so this one girl, she kind of just goes around. I think she's a stripper actually, but there's a few of them who have this condition, and her breasts are like I don't know, the biggest breasts like you've ever seen, and it's all caused by the fact that it there's like an internal loop of this building up more and more scar tissue on the inside.
Scary.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, I think that's how they actually caused it. That's right, because the whole scar tissue thing was actually how they initiate the breast enhancement. That's actually how that one worked. But usually it stops, at a certain point for most people. But for some people, it just doesn't stop because their body's different or weird or whatever, and it just keeps going and going and going.
I finally get what the Red Hot Chili Peppers were singing about. Nate, your look right now is like, either you didn't get the joke or you really don't find anything I say funny.
I don't get the joke.
They have a song called Scar Tissue.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Is it like the Day-O?
Yeah.
Day-O.
Yeah, it's that one, the one from Beetlejuice.
Daylight come and we want to go home.
Yep, that's it. The scar tissue coming, my breast won't stop growing. So, Kirsten, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an actually amazing episode. Very off topic, but I think it was also on topic at the same time. Very on brand for us to be.
I feel like if you throw the keyword in there every now and then you're good. You're good.
That's it exactly. And we're gonna be able to have so many good tags. Pornhub, giant breasts. It's gonna be great. Strippers, car wash. It's gonna be really, really good for our searchability. So thank you so much for coming out. What do you want to plug this time? I know you get a lot of projects.
That's true. You know what? I just want to plug in my drone work this time. I don't have a specific website or anything for it, but if anyone's interested in drone and video work for their business, then they can reach out to me on my NH Communities page.
Outstanding.
Would that be more local to New Hampshire, or how far around do you go?
It'd be more local to New Hampshire. I'm willing to travel like
Hey, baby,
in a
money makes the
circular
world
radius,
go
maybe,
around.
like an hour. But then if you're talking about like north and south strictly, like I don't mind, going straight up 93 all the way to like Lincoln, New Hampshire or something.
Listen, I'll talk for Kirsten. If you want to send her to California to film something for you and you're going to pay the way, free vacation. She's all for it.
When the pandemic is over.
You got to pay
when
for
it's over.
2 people and a dog, boarding, travel, all the jazz. But let me tell you, nobody going to be able to make a video like that. Best one you're going to find. New Hampshire Communities page on Facebook. Go ahead and reach out. And thank you again for coming on.
Thank you. I will see you again this week. Not on the podcast, in person.
That sounds great. Nathan, did you ever do a fundraiser for the wrestling team?
Yeah, we did a couple, but it's like I never actually showed up to them because they're like, so I guess there's like these swimming docks out in the water, and the idea is that you would go out in the cold, freezing water in the middle of October or November, and you just pull them out and pull them up onto the shore, and that was terrible. So I never did it.
These swimming dogs? Why are
Docks.
dogs out there in the middle of the winter?
No, the swimming docks, like like how you like jump off, like there's like little platforms in the middle of the water, and you kind of jump off them.
What did that have to do with wrestling?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. It's just something they pay them for and get money for.
Oh, well, and you don't participate in any charity?
No. I mean, I donated to this couple charities before, but It was a mistake because then I just got spammed with lots of like other charities, so I stopped doing that.
You only donate to charities on accident.
Pretty much.
Nate, we need to talk.